Welcome back to the channel. Today we're putting Sony heavyweights head to head. The 85-inch Sony X95K against the 75-inch Bravia 9. Grab your popcorn and get comfy because it's about to get intense and a little bit bright. Let's start comparison.
So let's talk about specs. Because we all know the numbers don't lie, except for when you're trying to justify spending a little bit too much on a TV to your significant other. Released in 2022, the X95K features the mini LED technology that offers deep blacks and bright highlights. It's a 4K resolution at 120 Hz, which makes it good for gamers. The X95K also supports Dolby Vision and also has the XR processor. Sony Bravia 9, released earlier this year, is a 75-inch of pure viewing pleasure. And don't let that size fool you. This thing got brightness and it could challenge a supernova and HDR impact that makes you wonder if you're watching a TV or a window into another dimension. It also equipped with the cognitive processor XR, meaning that both TVs are equally brilliant at making your favorite shows and movies pop right off the screen. But the Bravia 9, oh boy, is one to beat in shadow detail, giving those deep blacks and contrasts that are just a chef's kiss. And now, enough with the specs. Let's dive into some real world action. I'm going to switch over from voiceover to video so you can see the TVs in action. Just a heads up, the audio might sound a bit different once I switch, but let's check it out.
Now, just to make this comparison fair, I'm about to go ahead and show the settings just to give everyone just a heads up. So right now on the Bravia 9, I'm about to go ahead and pull this up. I'm using cinema right now. Power saving is off and eco is off as well. Just to make sure that we're keeping everything equal. Let me go into the picture settings. And I'm about to go ahead and reset the settings for cinema. So you see this right here. And I went ahead and reset it. Same thing for the Sony X95K. I got it on Custom Pro 1 because I do have my own settings for custom, but I don't want to mess that up. So I'm about to go ahead and reset the settings here. Right here, default. And so I went ahead and reset everything for the Sony X95K. If anyone is curious about the settings specifically, you can see that both are at 35, contrast 90, gamma -2, gradation preferred is grayed out, black levels 50, black adjust is off, and we have advanced contrast enhancer. We have it off on the X95K, and then on the Bravia 9 we have it at medium. So all the local dimming is at medium, and then we got peak luminance for SDR at off. Colors as well, we got 50. We got here hue. We got an expert. Live color is off. And then we got here expert setting at 1, expert setting at 1. And let me do this. Clarity. Everything is pretty much identical. Motion. Oops. Went through that by mistake. So motion, let's go through here. Everything is at default. Got 1, cinema motion is high, and you got cinema motion high. Okay, so this is cinema. I do want to make this as fair as possible because I don't want people in the comments going to say, why are you using cinema? Of course, cinema is brighter. Let me go ahead and do professional. But if I do professional on here, the brightness go down to 4. You still got energy saving, it's off. So I don't think this would be a good fair comparison with this. So what I am going to do is I'm going to do cinema at 75. So you see the contrast enhancer, so let's go back here. Just to make this fair, I'm going to do the contrast enhancer as well to medium. So if you go back to the top, just do a recap here. Oh, ambient, yep. So everything is pretty much identical to each other. Every single thing. So on the right is default setting. X95K is default settings as well, with the caveat advanced contrast enhancer at medium. So it looked like it didn't do anything. Local dimmings at medium, and then peak luminance, colors. Colors are the same, default setting, except for live color is on low. Clarity, live color is off on here. So I'm gonna put it at low as well too, just to make sure that we kind of like on the same page. All right. And then clarity, reality creation, we got 20 and 20. Okay, so everything is identical, so no playing around. All right, first things first is, let's go ahead and go do this. All right, first thing you can see here is looking at the menu, you can see that both are on its default setting, but the Bravia 9, if you put it on cinema, so far is brighter. So I try to do the best angles that I possibly could on this one. I just want to throw that caveat out there. Reason being is because the 75-inch and the 85-inch only have so much room in the basement on here, so just want to give a heads up. But right off the bat, you can see that the Bravia 9 is brighter. It shows a lot more shadow detail with those two. So just wanted to throw that out there. Now what I'm about to do is I'm going to show some other comparisons as well too, because this is the menu. Also, if anyone is curious to know the differences as well, the only thing that I have noticed so far is a few things when it comes to external input. Nobody's not really going to talk about this much. Pretty much everything is kind of like identical, but the thing is that you do have to know that if you look at HDMI 3 and HDMI 4, they're 4K 120 on both TVs, but on the X95K, you do have the older MediaTek chip, while the Bravia 9 do have the updated version of the MediaTek chip. That's the same chip that's on the A95L Sony, the QD OLED TV, and that's one where you could get Dolby Vision for gaming, 4K 120. But looking at this is the only thing that really stuck out. You see the VRR, variable refresh rates, you got a toggle. On the X95K, you don't have that. Also too, if you look at the signal format, you got standard, enhanced, and then enhanced format for advanced. And then you got standard, enhanced format with Dolby Vision, and enhanced format with VRR on the X95K. For this comparison, I left the enhanced format on here. And then I left enhanced format on VRR for this one. Reason being, let me do this just to make sure. Let me go here. So on HDMI 4, that's where I have my Apple TV plugged up. For the Bravia 9, I do have it plugged up to HDMI 3 for this one. So I'm keeping those two equal. Pretty much they're the same. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is show some screenshots of some video that I tried to capture as best I possibly could. So I'm about to go to the Apple TV.
All right, let's dive into the scene where Batman is making a dramatic entrance, or should I say crash. I paused this movie right at this point where Batman smashes his car into the Penguin, and what we're seeing here is the Bravia 9 really starts to show off. Not only does it surpass the X95K in terms of color contrast, but also win in battle when it comes to blacks and shadow detail. Now, I know it might look like the X95K is brighter in some areas, but on closer inspection, those spots actually seems washed out and a bit blown out in person. It's not as noticeable, but overall the Bravia 9 clearly takes the lead here. And just so you know, I had to do a voiceover over on this part because my other mic was cutting out for some reason. Technology, right? Anyway, and the techies watching, yes, this is HDR10, but hold on because the next scene we're going to be switching over to Dolby Vision. Let's see how those two TVs stack up. All right, so now we got both TVs running on the Dolby Vision with the default settings. And let me tell you, this is where things get really interesting. The Batman movie is still playing, and we got that intense scene where Batman stares down the penguin with the flames roaring in the background. Now, after checking the default settings, I gotta say the Bravia 9 is absolutely killing it with the Dolby Vision. The fire, the shadows, Batman's suit, it all just popping off the screen. But don't count the X95K out. It's holding its own and doing an impressive job too. The scene really puts both TVs to the test, and while the Bravia 9 edges out a win, the X95K is definitely no slouch. You're going to want to see this for yourself. All right, let's roll back to the scene where Batman is walking towards the Penguin after an intense car crash. Now, with the Dolby Vision enabled on both TVs, you'll get a true feel of how these beasts perform under their default settings. As the flames lights up in the background, the Bravia 9 takes the lead with its richer blacks and more vibrant colors, really making those details pop. But don't count the X95K out just yet. It's still delivering some fantastic contrast and shadow details, keeping attention alive. As I go through the default settings on each TV, you can see how each handle the scene. Notice how the Bravia 9 managed to maintain the integrity of the color, while the X95K, although slightly behind, still holds its ground with a solid performance. Both TVs are really giving it all in this scene, but the Bravia 9 just edge it out ahead, especially with those deep, inky blacks. Now let's switch gears and dive into John Wick 4. In this comparison, both the X95K and the Bravia 9 are holding their own, and if you're rocking an X95K, you should feel pretty good right now. Both TVs deliver impressive visuals that are strikingly close to each other. However, the Bravia 9 does pull ahead just slightly with its HDR impact, giving it a bit more depth and punch to those intense action scenes. It's a tight race, but the extra oomph in the Bravia 9 HDR gives it a subtle edge. Alright, let's dive into one of the most electrifying scenes of Godzilla vs. Kong. Watch as Kong emerges from the depths wielding his mighty axe. This moment isn't just about epic battles, it's a test of TVs. Now, the Bravia 9 with its latest HDR technology takes the spotlight here. Look at the HDR impact. The colors are so vivid you can practically feel Kong's energy crackling through the screen. The details in Kong's axe, the shadows, and the textures are beautifully enhanced, making every swing and movement incredibly lifelike. Alright, now we switch into another scene and we dive into the moment where Godzilla stands beside that glowing sign about to make his dramatic turn. This is where the HDR impact truly comes to life. Now, looking at the Sony X95K, it does a commendable job handling the illumination and detail. The colors are vibrant and Godzilla's scales are nicely defined. But wait when you take a look at the Bravia 9. When you look at the Bravia 9, the HDR impact is better, but I want to say it's a night and day difference between each other. But you could clearly see by looking at the Bravia 9, it does have a little bit more of a punch compared to the X95K. Okay, next up, we got one of the most thrilling clashes in the movie, Godzilla's breath versus Kong axe. This scene is packed with action and is a perfect battleground for our TVs. Now, with the Sony X95K and the Bravia 9 going head to head, both TV handles the intense action and the fiery visuals quite well. But let's dive into the detail. The Bravia 9 shines again with the HDR impact and the fiery breath from Godzilla brilliantly rendered, showcasing vivid with incredible depth. Kong's axe is highlighted with sharp detail, even as it blocks the intense blast. The contrast and the brightness levels are exceptional, making the scene feel even more dramatic. The X95K holds its ground impressively with the effects and details are strong and the action is well rendered. However, the Bravia 9 takes a slight edge here with that HDR impact on the Bravia 9 really enhances the vibrancy of the colors and the clarity and giving it a bit more punch. And there you have it. We put the 85-inch Sony X95K and the 75-inch Sony Bravia 9 through some of the most visually demanding scenes, and it's clear that both TVs bring a lot to the table. While the X95K holds its own with its impressive performance, the Bravia 9 consistently delivers superior HDR impact, bringing out the most vivid colors and striking details in every scene. Thanks for joining me on this epic comparison. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more tech reviews, make sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button and ring the bell for the latest updates. Drop a comment below on which TVs you think take the crown and if there's another battle you want to see. Until next time, keep watching and keep comparing.